and that they're doing something about it. Thank you.
Senator Van Turnhout, in 6 minutes.
Thank you very much, and welcome, Minister, to the House. And I must commend the Fine Gael Senators for bringing forward this motion before us and initiating this timely debate, and thank you. I think we've debated the seriousness of bullying in all its forms for some time now, including in the Seanad recently, as this September, where we had statements on homophobic bullying before Minister Kathleen Lynch. I note with great sadness the tragic deaths by suicide linked to cyberbullying of teenagers Ciara, Pugsley and Erin Gallagher as the backdrop to this motion. Their tragic deaths by suicide must be the catalyst for real action to tackle the pernicious, pervasive and extremely dangerous phenomena that is bullying. And I think this motion rightly welcomes the improvements technology has brought us to our lives, but we also must be cognizant of the new dangers such improvements inadvertently bring. And obviously today we're talking about cyberbullying, but another issue of concern for me is this dissemination of child abuse material on the internet. I think it was demonstrated on Saturday when we successfully passed the children's referendum that the protection and welfare of children is a key concern in Ireland, and I think it must remain a top priority for all of us members here in the Oireachtas. And in this regard, I do very much welcome the commitment in the programme for government in this area, as well as the Anti-Bullying Forum and the working group to produce an action plan on bullying, Minister, by yourself and your own department. And I think the roadmap that the working group plans to produce, I certainly look forward to it. I hope that the working group speak of the need for effective structural changes in curriculum, in policy, in support services and teaching practices, and is for all children. Otherwise, I think it will be a lost opportunity. And I look forward to us having a debate on that action plan when it is produced. But in relation to cyberbullying, I'd like to raise a number of points I think are important in this discussion and the abuses of our evolving technologies. I think it's important to note from the outset that it's not possible to combat cyberbullying through legislation. Legislation capable of catching the kind of circumstances which prevail in cyberbullying cases already exists by the way of the offence of harassment under Section 10 of the Non-Fatal Offences Against the Person Act 1997. And this point is well made in recent legal comment by Fergal Crean BL, who noted that laws can only make things illegal. They cannot stop them from happening. And furthermore, the law can only help in prosecuting disclosed cases of bullying, but does not help in preventing the behaviour. And I think we need to concentrate on tackling the behaviour itself. Now, I do think we need to look at the prosecutions, and that when people do present evidence, that people will be prosecuted for those laws, for breaking the law. But looking at the behaviour, I think we do need a fundamental cultural shift in attitudes and values around bullying through a national strategy with a whole school community approach. And I think we do need to redouble our awareness efforts so that parents, teachers, community know the signs. Because most of us actually would find it very difficult to know the signs, especially when you're talking about teenagers who are going through a troubled period in their life at the best of times. So to try and spot the signs isn't extremely difficult to be asking any parent to do on their own. And I think that's why it needs to be a whole community school approach. Cyberbullying can take many forms. The report recently produced, the Guide to Cyberbullying, which was prepared by the Office for Internet Safety, O2 Barnardo's and the National Centre for Technology and Education, identified 5 types: personal intimidation, impersonation, exclusion, personal humiliation and false reporting. And they said that we need to tackle such behaviour with education. And I think the role of the school is particularly important in cyberbullying. And it was pointed out in the briefing earlier, an excellent briefing that we had earlier, that all too often schools don't tend to promote their bullying policies. They'll bring us in to promote many other policies that they do. But nearly by promoting that they have a policy on bullying, it's in a way nearly emitting some deficiency in the school. And we need to reduce that stigma and grow up. Schools need to say what they're doing. I think Senator Moran's experience, I think was very telling, because many children won't tell about a bullying experience because of the shame. And often they present medical conditions which are sort of, so they'll end up, I had one girl involved in youth work, ended up hospitalised on a drip And when you actually peeled it away, she was being bullied. So very often children will present with medical conditions, and when the layers get peeled away, because they believe it, it's their only way to get out. It's the stigma. 1 minute left. I think a point that hasn't been raised today is, though, us adults. You know, there's the saying, they don't pick it off the streets. And I've just been through a referendum campaign where we shouted at one another. We were strong language to one another on different sides of the debate. I watch things like Frontline, where sometimes you nearly feel there's a pack mortality, you know, that whole... And I think we need to be a little bit careful as well. All too often we talk about the children and we say, children, you need to be nice to one another. You need to be kinder to one another. But it's okay for me to scream and shout, and it's okay for me to use abusive language and tell you that you're stupid. Because that's different, because I know better. And I do think maybe we need to challenge ourselves as adults about our very own behaviour. I also would like to raise the importance of that we don't just use curriculum in its standard form. Earlier today, the National Youth Council of Ireland had a presentation on youth arts, and Roscommon Youth Theatre did an 8 to 10 minute short play on bullying. And these young people, it was powerful, they showed empathy. By preparing this play, writing this play, they were able to really get an understanding of the different sides of what happens in a bullying situation. So, whether it's sport, as Senator Coughlin said, as art, we must use different ways. Just finally, I do want to mention also the child abuse material on the internet. I think we need to be very careful also. That is an issue that I'll be bringing up again with the Minister for Justice. I brought it up last year. But I think it is welcome, this debate, and hopefully we can move to action. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Mullins, and you have 6 minutes.
Look, I want to join in the welcome to Minister Quinn to the House to discuss this most important